Hey, it's Bill DeWeese from VoiceOverRevolution.com, and today I want to talk about the 8 differences between me and you. Haven't you always wondered? Just dying to know what those differences are. Since I was young, I've always looked at other people that have done things that I wanted to do, and I've always tried to study the differences. What are the distinctions? What is it that they do that I'm not doing? Or what is it that I'm not doing enough of? Or what is it they do more than me or less of? Whatever the case may be. And I think studying those differences can be really telling and can be helpful. But before I get into those 8 things, let me cut to really the punchline of this whole thing. And that is the big differences between me and you, probably not what you think. So if you're thinking, oh, well, I mean, you're more talented than I am, I wouldn't bet money on it. Talent is highly overrated. Now, don't get me wrong. And when I say talent, I think of something that somebody is born with. And I think we're all born with certain talents that we tend to have a propensity for more than other people. Like, for instance, I don't think voiceover is my core God-given talent. I think teaching is. That is one thing where I feel I have a natural God-given ability to do, and that has always come pretty easy for me, teaching. What I do behind a microphone has been a lot of work, very difficult. I'm probably a poster child for most unlikely to do what I do. I was very shy, soft-spoken, really afraid to speak in front of other people, as many people are. But even from a speech perspective, I struggled a lot early on with like enunciation and diction and those kind of things. The point being, I really had to work hard from a skill perspective. So let's not call it talent; let's call it skill. And skill is something that can be developed. So that is not, and I've worked with and coached people who are far more talented than I am. And here's another punchline for you. Some of the most talented people you can imagine are not working all that much in voiceover, and they're frustrated and they don't understand why. So that's not it. So let's get into those 8 things. Number 1 is I'm willing to fail. I view failure differently than perhaps you or other people. I don't see it as ultimate failure, as personal failure. I see it as an opportunity to learn, because the reality is we don't learn until we make mistakes. Mistakes and failure can be the ultimate teacher. And as sub points to that, I'm willing to be embarrassed. I'm willing to look foolish. I'm willing to do it wrong until I can get it right. And those things are not easy to do because it really takes swallowing a lot of pride and ego to do that. But I am willing to fail. Number 2, I don't need all of the answers before I try something, because I see trying as learning, and going back to point 1, failure as learning. So I don't feel like I have to have all the information. You point me in the right direction, and I will just start banging my head against a wall until I figure it out. And I see a lot of people who ask so many questions before they're willing to do anything, because they want to make sure that they don't bump up against anything, that there's no friction, that they don't feel foolish or they don't do something wrong. Life is filled with doing things wrong, because that's how we learn to do things right. So that's number 2. Number 3 is I don't give up. I may be somewhat soft-spoken. I don't consider myself a bulldozer in terms of personality, but what I am is I am tenacious. I do not quit. It may take me a long time to figure it out, and it may not be easy, but the one thing I do not do is I do not quit. And what I found is that perseverance tends to prevail above all else, certainly beyond talent. The next thing is I take personal responsibility. I've learned not to look out there, excuse me, for reasons for not doing what it is I want to do. Because it's easy to look the economy, oh, the economy's not right, or this is a bad time of the year, or I got this going on, or hey, there's this group of people, or there's this or there's that. As long as your point is to something outside of yourself as the reason that you're not doing what you want to do, you are doomed to failure from the get-go. It's just simply called taking personal responsibility. And that's something that I've learned to do over the years. The next thing is I have a strong work ethic. I understand that things that we want the most don't come easily. Maybe they do to some people. Voiceover did not come easily to me. I've had to work very, very hard. I've put in a lot of hours, and I am still learning, but I have a strong work ethic. I know that it requires me getting up in the morning and doing certain things every day, sometimes that aren't fun. And it's not glamorous. It's not usually, glamorous and sexy. It's the grind. And you've heard me probably talk about that in other videos. The grind is what is required to be successful in voiceover and in anything. The next thing is, I don't care what clients who don't hire me think of me. Think about that for a second. I don't care what clients who don't hire me think of me. In other words, if let's say I'm going to make phone calls to prospective clients, and I know a lot of people well, what if somebody gets mad at me? What if I make somebody angry? Well, if they're not going to hire me, what do I care what they think? Because if you get caught up in what people think, even prospective clients, or what if I do something that'll cast me in a bad light with these casting directors? I mean, as long as what you're doing is ethical, you've got to let go of that stuff, because that will bind you up and keep you from doing the things that you need to do. And that goes with things like thumbs up and likes on auditions, and even, in social media. And oh my gosh, voiceover talent are notorious for, and artists in general. We love to get positive feedback from other people. But I don't care what prospective clients who don't hire me, why they didn't hire me, I don't know, but I can't care. I can't afford to care. I have to focus on those who do hire me for whatever reason was they liked me for a particular job. Those are the people that I'm trying to please. Closely related is this: I don't care what other voiceover talent think of me. And that's something to really give some consideration to. And that's not just a voiceover thing. When I used to work in radio, I saw it a lot in radio. I was a station manager and a programmer and an on-air talent. And I saw so many programmers and on-air talents playing to other industry people, wanting to look good to other industry people. And voiceovers, I don't know that I've ever seen a more, and please forgive me if this is direct, but a more codependent group of people, because this need to be liked by other voiceover talent. The other voiceover talent are the people hiring you. They're not the people you need to be pleasing or that you need to be concerned about. It's the clients who hire you. Those are the folks that you need to be concerned about. I don't care what other voiceover talent think of me. Therefore, when it comes to whether it's my performance or the way that I charge, the way that I market myself, and believe me, when you do what I do, and you make YouTube videos and you coach, there are a lot of people who do not like you for whatever reason. But I don't care. I only care about the people that I can help from a coaching perspective. Those are the people that I care about. And when it comes to voiceover, it's the clients that hire me. And by doing that, it keeps me very focused. I don't take things personally. I do what needs to be done. And I hope these things help you. And by the way, this is about growth. I'm not saying that I've ultimately achieved these objectives and that I'm 100% fantastic in all of these areas. I'm just saying these are areas that I've identified that I consistently work on and I consistently become better at. And I think if you do that, if you focus less on what you don't have and say, maybe you don't have tons of God-given talent in this area, but what you do have is tenacity and drive and the willingness to learn skills, you can be successful. Hey, again, I hope you find this helpful. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up, share it if you haven't yet subscribed, and I look forward to talking to you soon.